Good Thursday morning, everybody. I'm Dave Furtado.
And I'm meteorologist Jake Stevenson.
And welcome to KEPR Quick, your latest local news and weather commercial free in about 18 minutes or less. We're going to jump right over to weather because, Jake, we had quite a bit of rain earlier this week. It seems like now we're getting into that stretch of sunshine, hopefully, as we head on into the weekend.
Yeah, we had a few showers come through this morning, but as we move through the day today, we're going to be seeing haze become the bigger story. There will be a couple of showers and thunderstorms in and around the Blue Mountains, but other than that, haze in the Kittitas and Yakima valleys, and then some sunshine persisting throughout the Tri-Cities and Walla Walla region.
Thanks, Jake. We begin this morning in the Tri-Cities. A day in remembrance. 24 years ago today, thousands died in the worst coordinated attack against the United States. In Kennewick sits a piece of the World Trade Center, and there the city is inviting Tri-Citians to pay tribute to those lives lost. KEPR's Aiden Whitaker is at the memorial and tells us the itinerary. Aiden?
Starting at 6:30 this morning with the national anthem and a presentation of the colors, the local honor guard will host guard changes every 30 minutes until 10:45, honoring every significant event minute by minute that occurred 24 years ago. The local honor guard is comprised of members from the Tri-Cities Professional Firefighters Honor Guard, the Kennewick Police Department, and the Benton County Sheriff's Office. Live here in Kennewick, back to you in the studio, Dave.
Thanks, Aiden. In Grant County, an Ephrata motorcyclist is dead after losing control and getting hit by a car. According to State Patrol, 36-year-old Jesse Perez was heading east on State Route 28 near milepost 62 just before 9 last night when he lost control of his bike and was ejected. He landed in the roadway, and a short while later, a 53-year-old Renton man who was traveling on the same road ended up hitting Perez. The 36-year-old died at the scene. Troopers say he was wearing a helmet during the incident, though the cause of the crash is still under investigation. And we're learning more about a serious crash that hospitalized a Tri-City Dust Devils player and several other people. According to court documents, 4 people were in the car last Friday at around 2 in the morning, including Dust Devils player Rio Foster, who was announced as the Northwest Player of the Month just hours before the crash happened. He and another woman were thrown from the car after it sheared a power pole. A woman behind the wheel of the car has been arrested, accused of being intoxicated when the crash happened, and is currently being held on $200,000 bail. According to a GoFundMe set up by Foster's family, he remains in critical condition but is stable. So far, more than $50,000 have poured in to support Foster and his family. A Granger man is facing a number of charges after state troopers say he fled from them on Interstate 90 going 115 miles an hour. Troopers started chasing the man after he passed them in the eastbound lanes at more than 100 miles an hour. Eventually, troopers used spike strips to stop him a few miles west of Ellensburg. Troopers say the man appeared to be under the influence of fentanyl. He was checked out at the hospital and then taken to jail. Kennewick police say when they recovered a stolen car, it cracked open more than a dozen cases. Officers found the vehicle on August 13th on West Albany Avenue, and that led to a search warrant at a nearby apartment, where detectives seized stolen property linked to at least 16 burglaries and car crimes in Kennewick and Richland. Investigators identified a 30-year-old man as the suspect. He was arrested Tuesday at a Kennewick home and now faces multiple felony charges. Police say additional charges could follow as more regional law enforcement agencies review the case. West Richland man is accused of repeatedly fleeing from police and is now in custody. Police say a 31-year-old man failed to stop for them during a traffic stop on Friday, but they chose not to pursue out of safety concerns. Deputies in Benton County, with the Benton County Sheriff's Office, spotted the man driving in Benton City on Tuesday. After briefly refusing to yield, he was blocked in on Kennedy Road and surrendered without incident. Authorities say he now faces multiple charges. And some Richland food truck owners are dealing with someone vandalizing their businesses. Doggy Style Gourmet Food Cart and the Lucky Bow Food Cart operate out of the Ace Griggs parking lot. Owner of Doggy Style says their power cord was cut 2 times, while the owner of Lucky Bow says someone has trashed their cart twice in the last 2 months.
When it happens, you get some footage, but you don't really get a good image of what they look like. And so they don't know. They will know as much as we do about the whole situation. We're just kind of trying to figure out ways to keep things safe. It would be nice if we could get patrolled more around here.
Now, this is an ongoing case, and we'll keep you updated as we learn more. 3 Washington state gang leaders are heading to federal prison after being sentenced this week for aiding the violent prison gang La Nuestra Familia, also known as NF. Jansener de Silva of Moses Lake will serve 10 years for gun charges. Jesus Morales of Yakima was sentenced to nearly 7 years, also for gun crimes. And Thomas Lee Weathermax of Spokane, who is currently serving a prison sentence for assault, was sentenced to more than 6 years for drug conspiracy and money laundering. Prosecutors say La Nuestra Familia is expanding into Washington, pushing a strict violent agenda and actively recruiting minors. They say children in NF are taught that prison is inevitable, and they have to earn gang status by committing serious crimes, often involving violence. Each man will face years of federal supervision following their release from prison. And in Yakima, 27-year-old Jaime Garcia Garnica was killed in a shooting on Cornell Avenue in Yakima on September 1st. KIMA's Aiden Connor spoke with Jaime's aunt about his impact on his family and the community. Here's his story.
Jaime Garcia Garnica was fatally shot on September 1st and left behind a life that he had created for himself at such a young age. His aunt Sandra, who asked not to appear on camera, said that Jaime was a difficult person to find issues with. A great son, never had any problems, she said. He was very sociable with people, very helpful. Sandra says that for Jaime's family, he was more than family. He served as a leader and an example. Jaime, for us, was not only our family, he was a great example, she said. He was our leader, he always knew what to do, and he supported everyone without asking for anything in return. One thing Jaime cared for more than anything was his children, and even had dreams of saving money and moving his family back to his home country of Mexico. The best father, he dedicated himself to taking care of his children. They were everything to him, Sandra said. Sandra is also calling for action on the punishment of Jaime's shooter. She says it's unfair that they don't want to do anything with the person who took his life. A beloved husband, father, and leader in his family, Jaime Garcia Garnica will be remembered for his continued sacrifice and selflessness.
KIMA's Aiden Connor, thank you. And we did reach out to the Yakima Police Department, and they told us they didn't have an update on the shooting investigation. If you have any more information, police would like to hear from you. A Richland property owner is facing legal action from the city after repeated requests for the property owner to clean it up. According to the Richland City Attorney's Office, they filed the lawsuit after reaching out to the property owner several times over the last year, and nothing was done. Although neighbors we spoke with didn't want to go on camera, many of them say they're fed up with the situation and concerned about the potential health impacts. One neighbor said he's glad to hear the city is finally taking action, even if it's going to take time to get things cleaned up. We did try to reach out to the people living at the property and left our contact info, but we have yet to hear back. Richland city leaders say they cannot comment on the situation due to the ongoing litigation. And fire crews are making slow progress containing the wildcat fire near Goose Prairie. Fire is now 8% contained and has burned just over 7,900 acres. Leaders say there's been little growth since Tuesday, due in part to the cooler temperatures and the higher humidity. Level 2 evacuation orders are still in effect in the Goose Prairie and Bumping Lake areas. There are also some trail closures in the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest and in Mount Rainier National Park. And with that, we're going to jump right over to meteorologist Jake Stevenson to talk the weather for today. I know we did see a little bit of subsiding haze as that weather system, as that rain system, if you will, moves through our area. Are we going to see maybe a resurgence of some of that haze as that rain subsides?
Yeah, we've got a good chance for some haze in the Yakima and Kittitas valleys as we move through the day today and into tomorrow. Tracking our temperatures now, though, looking at our almanac, we are in the Tri-Cities for this. Our high today is going to be about 85 degrees with our low being 75. The high is about normal for this time of year, but we are several degrees above average for our low temperature. This is keeping things a little bit drier, meaning that fuel that fires are burning off of is going to be a little bit more warm and dry, and those fires can then burn a little bit better. But moving beyond our almanac, we also have a flash flood watch for the southern reaches of the Blue Mountains in Umatilla and Morrow County. We have a chance for some showers and thunderstorms this afternoon in the Blue Mountains, and as a result, these areas that are more prone to flash flooding should be watching out for any rushing water and its impacts. Looking on the haze front, as we mentioned earlier, this is by the afternoon today. We're looking at some pretty widespread haze across the Kittitas Valley as well as the Yakima Valley. And as we move tonight and into tomorrow, that haze will be spreading out across our region. It'll be getting thicker within the Yakima Valley and then spreading east with the Tri-Cities, Walla Walla, and Pendleton, looking at some haze throughout the day tomorrow. Speaking of haze and fire, we also had a new drought monitor released today from the U.S. Drought Monitor. We are still in severe drought across our region from the Kittitas County in the north all the way down to Umatilla County in the southeast. This is posing many impacts to farmers and people that depend on water rights for their livelihood. However, this small round of rain that we saw today and the coming round of rain that we're looking at this weekend will likely not be enough to abate the drought, but fingers crossed, we're looking at some chances for a wetter than average winter. So stay tuned over the coming months as we continue to track drought conditions. Moving ahead into our futurecast for this weekend, you can see now that weather maker by Sunday afternoon is moving through our region. We've got some rain in the ridgeline of the Cascades and even coming down into the Kittitas Valley a little bit. Over in the eastern half of our viewing region, the best rain is likely going to be in the foothills of the Blue Mountains, Walla Walla, and Pendleton, and up into Franklin County as well. Last but not least, taking a look at our 7-day forecast for Ellensburg, we've got hazy on Thursday and Friday. Then in Walla Walla, we've got that chance for thunderstorms and hazy tomorrow. In Yakima, 86. Hazy and sunny today and tomorrow. And then last but not least, in the Tri-Cities, AM clouds today, PM sun, and then some haze on Friday.
Thanks, Jake. As we reported yesterday, the library in Natchez is at risk of closing unless new funding is found. KIMA's Anissa Williams spoke with leaders at Yakima Valley Libraries who told her they're reevaluating several longstanding contracts, and Natchez is one of 4 cities now facing some tough decisions.
For decades, the Natchez Library has served as a local gathering place. But now, Yakima Valley Libraries says that partnership may not be financially sustainable.
We've been managing actually several contract cities. Natchez is one of them. We saw the contract cities were paying less than our annexed cities in an unincorporated county. So we wanted to reset with them and figure out how we could get to that place.
Unlike annexed areas where property taxes help fund library services, contract cities like Natchez pay a flat fee. Mendoza says the current rate no longer covers the cost of running the branch.
We're not treating one community different than the other. I mean, we understand that we're representing a lot of underserved and underrepresented and low-income communities across the county. It's just easier for us to keep it that way and not have people in different formulas so that we are treating everybody the same. Option 1, keeping the library, increasing the fee to annexation, and then looking and working with us around a remodel in the future.
Other options include replacing the physical library with a book mobile or closing the location entirely and ending Natchez's access to the system.
Because again, we don't want to close the library. This is just a fiscal element of making sure that we can be sustainable moving forward.
3 other contract cities, Tieton, Mapton, and Granger, are also facing changes. A book mobile service is being considered for Tieton and Mapton, while Granger is exploring a fee increase to maintain its branch. YVL has been in talks with all 4 contract cities since October. In Natchez, community members learned of the possible closure last week and are rallying to find solutions before a final board decision on September 22nd.
The board definitely would much rather have a library in every single community, but we just can't afford to do that anymore. So we're really reflecting on our footprint and trying to keep as many of our libraries open for as long as we can. At the end of it, what we're aiming for, unfortunately, it just means we have to have some of these uncomfortable conversations about money and how that impacts other cities.
KIMA's Anissa Williams, thank you. And leaders with Yakima Valley Library say they're open to working with cities, but need clear communication and a shared strategy to keep branches open. For Natchez, time is running out. And it's been nearly 2.5 years since House Bill 1240 was signed by the governor, banning dozens of guns and accessories in the state. In the time since, there's been a downturn in the firearm industry. Empty shelves showcase the loss of business for Taylor's Tactical in West Richland, the only store in the Tri-Cities that sells only guns and gun accessories. In the early days of the law being active, the owner told us it was indeed going to hurt his business, but it was unclear to the extent of that hurt. Now he's got data, the list of banned items, some 80% of what they sold, and over the last 26 months, they've had only one that was profitable.
If you go to work and you work your butt off all month long, and at the end of the month you lose $20, that's pretty heartbreaking. And it spills over too. I mean, we've had to let employees go. We're down to 4. Originally, we were up to 10, supporting the primary or sole income for 10 different households in the Tri-Cities area. We're down to 4.
Now, the sponsor of the bill told us in 2023 that any further bills would be focused on training and education, something that was touched on in House Bill 1163 signed by the governor this year that requires folks to take a live fire course and get a permit before buying a gun. That law takes effect in 2027. Chesler says it's another law that does not take into account those in the industry.
I would like to see more open communication on this nationwide and within the state. Unfortunately, I think in another couple of years that won't be possible because there won't be an industry in the state. But I think it should be very concerning to people that there may come a time in Washington state where you can't buy a firearm for your own protection. And we're not terribly far off that right now.
And finally, on to some lighter news. This weekend sees the return of the Hop Country Music Festival to the Sozo Sports Complex in Yakima. The festival runs on Friday and Saturday, with all proceeds going towards putting more youth on the fields through the Sozo's support of soccer, lacrosse, and football throughout the year. Tomorrow's lineup features 38 Special, the band that has been scoring top 40 hits for the last 50 years since their formation in 1974. Generation Radio, featuring members who came together after being part of legendary band Chicago, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and Rascal Flatts, as well as longtime local favorite Englewood Heights, who are returning to the festival again this year. It's a 21 and over event, and tickets are available online at hopcountry.fun. And that does it for us. Thank you for watching this episode of Keeper Quick. For more local news and weather, you can head over to our websites, keeper and KIMATV.com, as well as our Facebook pages. But while you're here, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up with our latest mini newscasts Monday through Friday. Have a terrific Thursday, everybody.